Hey, what's up? This is your girl Nicole Reloaded, and we loaded up with another video. And I just wanted to come on. There's a lot of stuff that's going on the YouTube streets, and it just really touched my heart and my soul. I don't know everything. I'll never know everything. But I did want to talk a little bit about opiate addiction. Opiate addiction is something that is extremely serious. And I'm just hoping that people, if there's anybody out there that is dealing with opiate addiction, please go out and seek help. A lot of people that end up being addicted to opiates, they definitely don't become addicted to opiates because they actually wanted to. They probably went to a doctor's appointment, stubbed a toe, broke a leg, a finger, even got a tooth fixed, and the doctor prescribed them an opioid medication, Vicodin, Percocet, Narcos. They could have been a man that was climbing up a ladder, and that man, while he was at work, fell and cracked his back, his vertebrae, his 7C, his C4, his lumbar, his hip, his spine. You can go on and on in regards to about addiction, opioid addiction, and the things that it can do to someone. I'm looking right now at the Rogers 21st Century Thesaurus. And as I'm learning, the first word in this Rogers Thesaurus is aback, which is an adverb, A-B-A-C-K. Taken unaware, confused, surprised, thrown off guard. Now that is definitely what an opiate addiction can do. It can break up families, relationships, intimacy, your health, your mind, and everything. It's a very serious addiction. I know people personally that suffer, that also are saved now. God saved them, helped them have the strength to get over the opiate addiction. So let's just play a little information here and see if this can help anybody.
I like it. I tried heroin. Not only did I like it, I loved it. And it just gave me a sense of peace that I didn't have to
Wait,
worry
hold
about
on.
stuff anymore. I just
Trying to find the
wanted to be
sound.
free of worrying about stuff all the time. I was a correctional officer at the Maryland Penn, and that's when my disease started. It's a stressful place, and a lot of the correctional that I like it, I loved it, and it just gave me a sense of peace that I didn't have to worry about stuff anymore. I just wanted to be free of worrying about stuff all the time. I was a correctional officer at the Maryland Penn, and that's when my disease started. It's a stressful place, and a lot of the correctional officers there used. I wasn't even thinking normal. I had to use because I got to go to work. And I realized that I was sick. My mother was an open person, so she told the family, Joy is sick, so we have to support her. Now I realize the stress I put them under for them to see me that way. But when you're caught up in the disease, you can't see nothing but your pain. I didn't want anybody to look down on me. I didn't want to disgrace my family. So I just faked it. I figured long as I looked good and I went to work every day and I wasn't, so I thought, I wasn't hurting anybody. That's what I thought. The people I admired the most and still do today is my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother was the wisest person I ever met. My mother was the strongest person I ever met. I was raised with my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. I got to run from person to person, getting love and everybody telling me I'm wonderful. We lived around a lot of woods and unexplored areas. I love going in the woods and finding new things to do. I had a German Shepherd. She used to come in the woods with me. I felt safe because she wasn't going to let anything happen to me. I was lost in the disease of active addiction for 30 years. I saw me. It broke my heart. I saw me. And it was the most traumatic thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I cried out to God, please. So my cry led me to a phone call. And my life just started changing drastically.
We work really hard to take away aspects of addiction that prevent proper treatment. So work really hard to take away shame. We often fail to realize how much social circumstance impacts how people take care of themselves or how they address their health care. So it's putting together a team of people who have insight into the fact that when we take care of patients, we have to address all aspects and especially their social setting.
Now I'm a peer recovery coach at Hopkins Bayview. So I see people sick just like I remember when sometimes, most of the time, their pain fills the room. I talk to them, I inspire, and try to encourage and let them know where I come from, let them know it's possible. And the young people, I try to let them know that you don't have to waste 30 years. You can do it now.
Peer recovery coach can see someone in the emergency room, and then if that person gets admitted to the hospital, the same peer recovery coach goes up to see them wherever they are. And this fear and anxiety of being admitted in the hospital, and all of a sudden there's a familiar face of someone who I met in the emergency room, someone who knows about my addiction and is non-judgmental and understanding.
I say I'm free all the time from the disease of addiction because I'm free to choose. I didn't have a choice when I was using it. And I'm free to make my dreams come true. See, I'm truly free today. I'm free to love because now I'm learning how to do it because I didn't know how to before. So, I mean, It's not the sky's the limit, the sky and beyond. Heroin, not only did I like it, I loved it. And it just gave me a sense of peace that I didn't have to worry about stuff anymore. I just wanted to be free of it.
Now, thank you for listening. This is your girl, Nicole Reloaded, and we're loaded up with another video. The YouTube streets got set on fire tonight. There's a lot of stuff that is going on. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Welcome, Eric. Thank you, K Love, for coming in. I have the call in number for anybody that would like to call in and just express their feelings when it comes to opioid addiction or any form of addiction, alcoholism, or anything. Um, I'm not perfect. I've never tried to come online and portray that I am. I see a breakdown that's going on in this sector of YouTube in regards to the African American family. You know, the Bible states in the last days that it will turn mother against daughter, daughter against mother, father against son, son against father. Addiction is a very serious subject, and they could say, "Oh, Nicole, how do you know?" You don't know. You don't know. You have no right to tell me about my family. And no, I don't. I don't have a right to tell you about anything. But what I can tell you, I can tell you about some of the things that I have experienced in life through family and friends, and so on and so forth. I do know that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and that he does not want anything meaningful when it comes to Black love, a Black father and a Black son loving on one another, a Black man teaching his Black son to be strong. The devil does not want that. He does not want the Black mother to brush the Black daughter's hair and to walk with her and lift and rise her up. The devil can make the mother deaf to where she cannot hear the pain of a young Black girl, a girl that is hurt within inside herself. Now you might say, Nicole, how dare you? There's Hispanic children, and there's white mothers and Caucasian mothers and Hispanic and Asian, but I'm a Black mother, and I'm speaking to Black mothers right now. Can I have the opportunity to speak to my Black sisters? I know how it is to be a mother, to be broken and confused. I know how it is to be a mother and to love a man and might turn away a little bit because God says that you are supposed to honor your husband and that the husband is supposed to honor you as Jesus loved the church. But you're only supposed to honor that man is if he loves the church the way that God did, the way that Jesus did. Jesus didn't hurt the church. He didn't step away from the church. He didn't break the church. He always gave good. He always gave good. There was nothing bad. There was nothing bad about the Lord Jesus Christ. And everybody wants to say, "Oh, this is not good. This is too much. This is not right. This doesn't make sense because I have a right to do whatever I want to do." But then when you do whatever you want to do, you cause a breakdown that's in your family, a family that is broken, that is very sad. And then when you open your laptop, you see that there's another mama that's sad and another daughter that is broken and a son that can't even have a coat that even fits because he wanted to be legit, but then his friends say that's too corny because that was a song that was really old. But he said, my cousin and my uncle told me about that. I always sat with my grandpa, and his name was Joe. We sit back and we act like we don't miss the times when things were good. Hush your mouth up. Shut up. We sit back and act like we don't miss the times when times were good, or can you miss anything that you never even had, or do you even remember when you had your grandfather and it was actually really safe to sit in his lap without him actually touching your thigh and thinking that you was a piece of meat that your mama couldn't see, or could you actually have a family friend that came over to help bake pies when your mom was laying in the bed and her body almost felt like she could die, and she was filled with tears, wondering, I can't go to the doctor. But she got on her knees and prayed while the man was out working every single day. He worked and he worked until his back hurt, until his feet started to bleed, and he came home to feed his family. What happened to the days where we can sit together and I can braid your hair and say, sister, it's going to be okay. The devil can't come nowhere near. Now, do I live in a fantasy that I think that is unrealistic, that there's no expectation that this can be reached? Do I sit back and watch YouTube and watch the brokenness of the Black family break down piece by piece? Some of you might say that everything that you're saying, Nicole, might be for views, but if they were, I would actually go out and do something different and come out on here and cuss you. But that's not what I want to do. I see the broken down of the Black family. It's been broken for a very, very, very long time. Can we come together and form any form of unification? Can we stand in line? Can we stand side by side? Can I look over at my sister and knowing that she got kids just like me, and I might can be confused and too embarrassed to say, sis, I might need you today. I need you today, but I'm confused and I'm a little worried. But I don't even know where my youngest daughter is because she decided to run off with a young man that said that he was going to love her and take care of her and keep her safe. And I had to work double time. And I went to the gym to try to lose some weight. Now there's somewhat of a separation. Now her dad has to come and pick her up, and now she's gone with him, and she's passed on to his grandmother, but he doesn't have a relationship with that grandmother, but he takes his child over to his mother's house, and the mother takes the child to the grandmother's house, and there's nothing but disconnection. But this child, all she wanted was to lay her head on her mother's chest so she can hear the mother's heartbeat. But the heartbeat of that mother was never to rest on that mother's heartbeat. And there's a beat, unfortunately, that seems that can't even beat by the drum. There's so many angry children to where they have argued and fought so hard that their tongues are even numb, to where even we even think, to where when we hear them speak, we're so hurt, then we try to say to ourselves, they're dumb. They don't know, but they do know. They do. They do. You messed up, mommy, just like I did. I should have picked a better pair of shoes. I should have walked a different walk. But I'm coming to you, my daughter, and telling you I messed up. I should have got a better pair of socks. I should have got an SUV. No, I should have got a coupe. Okay, baby, I'm sorry I messed up. I shouldn't have got any of those things. Now I'm on my knees begging you for forgiveness. Forgiveness where I messed up. Now I'm in front of you letting you know that I made all kinds of mistakes and that my heart aches. How many times are you going to let me know that I fucked up over and over again in front of the family and the friends and on the internet that I've made so many mistakes? I know that I have done you wrong and I should have made things better. I can't stop the rain from coming. I can't make that better. But what I can do is go through a different path and make things different for me. And I'm praying and asking God, God, please, and you other mothers and fathers, you stand with me. There's a way that we can make a difference, and that difference is in forgiveness and not continuously bringing up the same thing. You know, when you tell God, I'm sorry, God, please forgive me, that He forgets about all of those old things. But it's us, the flesh that's inside of us, that wants to break us down. He wants us to get online and act like fools and be like clowns. So everybody can sit back and look around and look at and see that There's not going to be a connection. There's nothing between you and your mother, your daughter, not even your cousin, your friend, not even a neighbor, not even when you in labor can I even accept your pain, because you're so distant and you're so broken. The life that you live in has been in vain. Nothing that you breathe for even means anything, because all you did was destroy. But once again, I'm just here by myself, sitting in the corner playing with my own toys. Hey, what's up? This is your girl Nicole Reloaded, and I'm here to let you know that the call lines are available. Okay, please call in and let me know, what do you feel? Have you experienced a family member, a separation, a breakdown in family? Do you have any way that you can share your story, your feelings? I also have provided the StreamYard link. You're more than welcome to click on that. You can click on that with your mobile device. You do not have to be on a laptop to come in. Let's talk about it. If not, let's just sit here and vibe for a little bit. I just wanted to open up my channel because my heart aches. I am a mother. I'm a mother myself, and I have kids, and I've made mistakes over the years. I'm human. Children don't come with, speaking of children, that's my baby that's hitting me up right now. What my baby girl say? Hold on real quick, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Shy, go upstairs. Wait, hold on, Parker. Come here. Hold on, you guys. Hey, what's up, you guys? I am back. I am back. I am back. Anyway, anybody that would like to call in and have a conversation with me and chop it up, I truly apologize. My baby girl had called me and interrupted me, but you know, when you're a mother, you know that your kids come first. Tracy, you are welcome to come on live with me if you want to. She said, I just connected to your stream link. It works, LOL. Well, click it back, Kay. I was upstairs, so I didn't see it. Click it again, Kay. Click the link, girl. I would love to hear Kay's thoughts. Kay, are you still there? She already got that. Something like that. She 5 minutes. No, I'm talking about your beans in here. Girl, where you at? And click the damn link. Click the link, y'all. What y'all scared to call in? I'm sorry. I had to get my baby ready. Anyway, I know y'all like, what in the hell is wrong with Nicole Reloaded? Is she crazy? They don't give you a where on StreamYards to where, okay, tell her to watch those. To where you can pause it and then restart the live over. It's just that I think you only can just end the broadcast. So I apologize. You know how it is when you got kids, y'all. When you got kids, they do all kinds of unexpected things. But anyway, I just came on here to discuss about opioid addiction. And the breakdown of the family unit. It's really, really, really sad. I don't think that I know it's easier said than done, and I really, really, truly pray that God will bring together these hold on, y'all. No, I can't cancel it now. He's already there. He's already at the door. You don't have to go tomorrow? Wait, let me see. I don't know if you will. It's like that, right? Yeah, because I literally over it. This is Josie, are you walking? Yes. Leave now, Yasmin. I work for Uber. If you're not here at a certain time, you're charging me for waiting. Go. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. They probably like, girl, you should have just ended the live and all this other stuff. Okay. Now I'm not interrupted. Now I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here. Kayla, try the link. I know Kim popped in here and she popped out. What is she doing? Oh, she sent me some more information about why people are popping up missing. Well, I can reboot this. This one I probably just get rid of or just call it blah, blah, blah at the end because I got interrupted. When you got kids, that's just how I go. I'm sure you heard my daughters um, fighting with each other about what they should do and what they shouldn't do. They be doing too much. You know how these kids think that they know every damn thing. Okay, that's taken care of. Okay. Now I know that y'all not scared to come over here on StreamYards or to call in. I know that Eric was in here, but I'm sure y'all probably don't want to get down and dirty with me with this conversation. Cause I'm about separation and not people breaking apart and mending and healing the black family and for us sticking together. I'm not gonna give you, yeah, fuck that, fuck that bitch. She ain't shit. Hope that bitch dies. She was a crackhead. Fuck her and her kids. You're not gonna get that out of me. Let me see what the clock says. Okay. I'm sorry I left y'all on hold. I apologize. But I'm back now. I'm back now. And maybe we can get this conversation started. And maybe we can and maybe we can't. Y'all some hard Negroes to please. I'm about to call one of y'all and put y'all on blast. I don't know why this keeps showing up. So anyway, well, I'll just play this again. See if anybody come back.
I tried heroin. Not only did I like it, I loved it.
She said she loved
And
it.
it just gave me a sense of peace that I didn't have to worry about stuff anymore. I just wanted to be free of worrying about stuff all the time. I was a correctional officer at the Maryland Penn, and that's when my disease started. It's a stressful place, and a lot of the correctional officers there used. I wasn't even thinking normal. I had to use because I got to go to work. And I realized that I was sick. My mother was an open person, so she told the family, Joy is sick, so we have to support her. Now I realize the stress I put them under for them to see me that way. But when you're caught up in the disease, you can't see nothing but your pain. I didn't want anybody to look down on me. I didn't want to disgrace my family. So I just faked it. I figured long as I looked good and I went to work every day and I wasn't, so I thought, I wasn't hurting anybody. That's what I thought. The people I admired the most and still do today is my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother was the wisest person I ever met. My mother was the strongest person I ever met. I was raised with my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. I got to run from person to person, getting love and everybody telling me I'm wonderful. We lived around a lot of woods and unexplored areas. I love going in the woods and finding new things to do. I had a German Shepherd. She used to come in the woods with me. I felt safe because she wasn't going to let anything happen to me. I was lost in the disease of active addiction for 30 years. I saw me. It broke my heart. I saw me. And it was the most traumatic thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I cried out to God, please. So my cry led me to a phone call. And my life just started changing drastically.
We work really hard to take away aspects of addiction that prevent proper treatment. So work really hard to take away shame. We often fail to realize how much social circumstance impacts how people take care of themselves or how they address their health care. So it's putting together a team of people who have insight into the fact that when we take care of patients, we have to address all aspects and especially their social setting.
Now I'm a peer recovery coach at Hopkins Bayview. So I see people sick just like I remember when sometimes, most of the time, their pain fills the room. I talk to them, I inspire, and try to encourage and let them know where I come from, let them know it's possible. And the young people, I try to let them know that you don't have to waste 30 years. You can do it now.
Peer recovery coach can see someone in the emergency room, and then if that person gets admitted to the hospital, the same peer recovery coach goes up to see them wherever they are. And this fear and anxiety of being admitted in the hospital, and all of a sudden there's a familiar face of someone who I met in the emergency room, someone who knows about my addiction and is non-judgmental and understanding.
I say I'm free all the time from the disease of addiction because I'm free to choose. I didn't have a choice when I was using it. And I'm free to make my dreams come true. See, I'm truly free today. I'm free to love because now I'm learning how to do it because I didn't know how to before. So, I mean, it's not the sky's the limit, the sky and beyond.
That is John Hopkins medicine. Okay. Let's refresh this. Once again, y'all listening to your girl Nicole Reloaded, and we're loaded up with another video. I truly apologize. Now the phone lines are open. Um, I'm sorry, my kids had to come in and intervene, and you know how kids are. Mom, you didn't do this. Mom, you didn't do that. And I'm like, yeah, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. Then we hugged and kissed and made up and realized that we were both at fault, and we still love each other another day. So we got to love on each other. And that's what I want to see for us. I want to see unification and not, separation. I really do. I think it's really sad that people are they're finding that it's okay, that it's cool to see a mother and daughter break down.
Good evening. I'm Savannah Pratt. Last year, over 53,000 Americans died from opioid-related overdoses. This means that in just 1 year, more Americans died from opioids than car wrecks. And it's roughly equivalent to the number of Americans that died during 10 years of the Vietnam War. Join us tonight as we dig deeper into a subject that is ravaging America.
Any alcoholic and drug addict that's been struggling, they'll tell you straight up there's a hell. So we've been through it.
Our tolerance for pain is diminishing, but will relief cost you your life?
Are you going to get that phone call? Somebody's dying every day.
Congratulations to the senior class of 2011. We made it.
And what happened?
He died.
And I thought opiates was what I needed to numb those feelings.
It's almost like they need that drug in order to survive.
It becomes live to use and use to live.
What will recovery look like? And will it demand a fight?
I'm not sick anymore.
For opiate withdrawals, it's hell on earth.
Body gets physically dependent on it to the point where it literally hurts to be normal.
Opioids are affecting more people than any drug in U.S. history, and we're here to journey with those afflicted to learn why.
Now the doctor's telling me to take them, so the doctor knows better than I do, right?
Doctor had the blood from Big Pharma. He said that he would heal me, but he only gave me problems. My drug dealer was a doctor.
Understanding the everyday reality of an opiate addiction is hard to fathom unless we can gain the perspective of someone fighting the disease. In North Georgia, there's a community where people are not alone in the struggle against opiate addiction, and this is where we are headed.
My name is Bo. I've been in the program for 10 months now. My addiction started like a lot of other people's with a doctor. I broke both my arms and my collarbone in a dirt bike wreck. I was prescribed opiates, Lortabs. Love the feeling. when the scripts ran out, I stopped using. But I always remember that feeling. A couple years later, my grandma passed away. Somebody I was really close to. I went back to using what I knew would numb me. That's the opiates. I knew I could use those. I could turn back to those, and I wouldn't have to feel the pain. I wouldn't have to feel the grief. Wouldn't have to feel the sorrow. I wouldn't have to feel.
When we receive an injury, little nerve receptors in our body let us know something is wrong. So we turn to prescription painkillers to help relieve that pain. But when the prescription runs out, sometimes the pain from the withdrawals can be even more painful than what the prescription was originally masking.
I was addicted before I even knew what addiction was. I didn't know about physical dependency or withdrawals or any of that stuff. But it didn't take long to figure it out. I got in an accident and hurt my knee, and I got prescribed hydrocodone. And I had built it up to be such a monster in my mind that when it was just this warm feeling, you know, it's just like, oh, this is not that bad. It was so opposite of what I had built it up to be that it almost like took me by surprise. I was like, oh, something that feels this good, it can't be that bad.
Jonathan was no longer looking to medicate the pain from his knee injury, but rather medicate the pain from his withdrawals.
It turned into that, you know, I hurt and I don't want to hurt. One of my family members, he had broke his back and he was prescribed the oxycodones, the Roxys, but he had 15 milligrams. And I found one of those on the laundry room floor and I tried that and it was so much more powerful. I was like, wow, this one pill can do what 10 pills does. So I started doing those. It's like battling yourself every single day. I mean, even when you have some, it's not enough. I mean, I couldn't even make it through a night without having to wake up in the middle of the night just to do some, just to be able to go back to sleep, just to make it to in the morning.
The outside appeared normal. He went to college and he had 3 jobs. But it was only a matter of time before the appearance of normal wore off.
It's like you buy enough energy to be able to buy a little bit more energy later on with the drugs. I mean, it's no way to live. It controls you completely.
Opiate addiction is reaching beyond our youth into an unexpected demographic. This is the 50-year and older users, and we don't hear about them very often. But in just 1 year, 2.7 million Americans over the age of 50 abuse prescription painkillers. So what has caused such an increase in drug addiction within this demographic?
1 out of 10 Americans suffers from chronic pain. And that's an issue in our country. And this is the go-to medication to address that pain, even though, unfortunately, there is no evidence supporting the use of opioids for chronic pain.
The addiction can start through treatment of chronic pain or invasive procedures like back surgery. Don knows the struggle of an opiate addiction after 50 because he lived it.
I would use probably up to 300 milligrams a day.
Wow.
1030 milligrams.
Of Oxycontin?
Roxys. My day would be basically just seeking drugs, seeking opiates. It wasn't a euphoric feeling anymore. It was just a maintenance type feeling so that I could function throughout the day. I would be able to work. I would be able to drive. I would be able to take a shower. Without it, it was almost impossible. It's just a constant battle. You're just constantly increasing the dosage so that you get that same feeling that the addict in you wants.
And, you know, according to the CDC, they say an amount to avoid is 90 milligrams a day. And so you were using the above.
That was the minimum. If I could afford more, I would use more.
That was your minimum. It was 100 milligrams a day. So describe that feeling. What were you getting from using that much each day?
I was basically just not being sick, not being what they call dope sick.
With 2 months down and 10 months to go in recovery at the Jericho House, he's holding on to the future when he will finish the program. You've been here for 2 months. 2 months. How do you feel?
Well, we had group the other morning and I started tearing up a little bit as I am now. It was, I'm not sick anymore. I don't wake up with that horrible sick feeling.
Academic excellence came easy for Brantley. He attended Georgia Tech, but while he was there, he started using prescription painkillers, which escalated to becoming hooked on heroin. He graduated, but then eventually became homeless, a life that he never fathomed for himself, all started because of prescription painkillers.
It became more of the 30 milligram uncut oxycodones, and it grew to be up to, I believe, 16 a day of those. So over 300 milligrams per day.
As their tolerance continued to grow, Dawn and Brantley started using well over the recommended dosage.
Once I was at that point, I had graduated from college and I was working full time. I was a manager for Waffle House, a position that I settled for. So my day would start out with doing some pills, arriving at work at about 6:30 and having to start my daily tasks. By the time the drugs were starting to wear off, it was around lunchtime. And this was about an 8-month period. I would leave my store unattended in the middle of my shift for an hour, hour and a half to go get pills because I couldn't physically make it through the rest of my day.
Eventually, his dealer became his roommate.
I had numerous different dealers, but this one was very reliable. He would front me drugs and let me pay him back later, here and there. Basically, it got to the point where I owed him more than I was going to be able to pay back. And he made the suggestion, hey, if you let me move in with you, you've got this big apartment, I'll knock off that debt. And he basically just took over my apartment. My addiction slowly got worse, obviously. And it got to the point where I owed him money again. And it just escalated to the point that he laid hands on me a few times and I had to get out of there.
Brantley went to multiple recovery centers, but relapsed after each one. He just couldn't shake his opiate addiction.
There was a guy who came in when I had been there about 4 or 5 days, and he just kept going on and on about how great the drugs were there, how cheap they were, how close it was. In my weak state, wanting to use just to feel physically better, it didn't really take much convincing. I had the guy draw me a map, and I walked out and walked straight to the drug dealer's house.
He walked to the Bluffs, which is home to the largest heroin market in Georgia. People come from all over to get their next hit of heroin, and this is exactly what Brantley was looking for.
The guy saw me from about a block away and just motioned me over. He knew that that's why I was there. It's the type of environment that it is down there. I would sleep in the outdoor storage room in the back of the Waffle House. No one knew I was staying there. I would only come in at night and leave early in the morning before anyone else showed up for work.
Finally, he hit rock bottom. He was homeless, broke, and with only a few minutes left on his prepaid cell phone, he calls his mom to ask for help once again.
It was about 40 degrees outside and extremely windy. I was sleeping in the back of an abandoned car and had nothing long sleeve, no blankets, just a few things that were short sleeve, nothing warm. And I was absolutely miserable. And I knew it was going to only get colder. I had a prepaid cell phone with about 28 minutes left on it, and I had no money. I called my mom and asked her, please help me. I need your help again. I can't do this anymore. I'm absolutely miserable. I'll do whatever you want. And she told me, I can't help you, but I can pray for you. And she hung up.
Recognizing that his family was no longer there to pick up the pieces, he started taking matters into his own hands to get into rehab. He got into detox, and the next day his mother came and took him to the Jericho house.
It's nice to know that there is a future for me instead of possibly dead in a year. You know, the drugs is just a dead end road. There's two places that'll go, either prison or 6 feet under. You know.
My name is John. I'm a recovering drug addict. I'm 26 years old, and I've recently come to realize that I'm my own biggest problem. When I was about 20 years old, my opiate addiction began. I started off with painkillers. It started off just a few a week. I didn't come to realize I was really addicted until maybe a few months into taking them. And that's all I got, guys.
For John, opiates masked more than just physical pain.
My first exposure to opiates was with my buddy. He came across hydrocodone, 10 milligram pills. I decided to try it, and it gave me a feeling that I've never felt before. It gave me a feeling of security. It gave me a feeling of confidence. It gave me a feeling of concentration. It kind of gave me everything that I was looking for at the time and more.
He went into short-term recovery and met Emily while he was there. But after he got out, he relapsed. 30 days of recovery wasn't long enough to break his addiction.
I'm put in a position where I'm given the opportunity to change my life. I'm still trying to cheat my way through life, and it's not working.
After he relapsed, their relationship was torn apart. With a baby on the way, he knew it was time to make some changes. So he chose long-term recovery at the Jericho House.
I'm gonna feel accomplished. I'm gonna feel like I just got over the biggest hill. It's hard being away from them every day. It really is. But I'm doing this for myself, I'm doing this for them, and I'm doing this for God.
Opiate addictions can be all-consuming, but what causes them to be so addictive? Dr. Carmen Martinez is a psychiatric doctor at the DeKalb Addiction Center. She works with people with all forms of addiction, including opiates.
It is intended to address pain. It's going to bind receptors in your nervous system to address that and diminish. It also goes to an area in your brain called the brain reward system, and it may have reinforcing effects there. The brain reward system is a little center in our brain that kind of lets us know how good something is. Endorphins, which are feel-good chemicals that your body produces that are released and make you feel good. When you're in love, the same thing happens, but those are natural rewards. A drug does that 100, 1,000 times more than that. It's not something that our brains are meant to take.
We grew up believing that the family medicine cabinet holds the remedies to fix all the bumps and bruises of life, but not knowing how dangerous some of the prescriptions in our family's cabinet could be devastating.
An adolescent who's, looking at a cabinet doesn't know anything about this, they're likely to try it. If that adolescent is struggling with other things and also happens to have the genetics to develop an addictive disease, that's where it all starts.
We made it. We have had our first taste of experience with success. May we experience much more of it in the future.
Between high school and college, he got to a point in his life that he was very stressed out, and he went to the family medicine cabinet to try to sleep. He was very bright. His mind just kept turning, and he self-medicated. So he probably was looking for something like maybe Advil PM, Excedrin PM, one of those things that take the edge off and let you go to sleep. And because there was nothing like that in our family medicine cabinet, he found something that said may cause drowsiness. And it was an old opioid prescription, and he took it.
So he's just looking in the medicine cabinet, he finds an old Vicodin prescription and uses it, and that's how it began for him. An innocent beginning turned into a terrible addiction. He went from excelling academically and being class president senior year to addicted from the first pill.
Our lives, however, I would like everyone to take one last walk with me down memory lane and remember how great our time was at Kennesaw Mountain.
How frequently was he using prescription opioids?
Daily, at the end. It had ups and downs. There were times very early in his usage that he would stop and he wouldn't use, and then he'd go back to it. And in the beginning, I think you can kind of stop and go, and then the more that you get into it, there's no stopping point. And during those times, it's hell on earth.
A parent's worst nightmare was becoming reality. As his addiction got worse, rehab became the next step. And so what was that moment where Davis ended up going into rehab?
It just came to a point where we gave him an ultimatum and said, you either go to rehab or find a different way. We still have 2 other children at home, but at the time we couldn't put them into that lifestyle. And there just comes a time when you have to say, you got to make some changes. And he was willing. It wasn't, he didn't fight. He was like, it's time.
It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. The senior class of 2011 says, we conquered the mountain. Now, onto ourselves.
If you have not experienced it, it's something that you cannot even fathom.
20 days of recovery went by quickly, and now it was time to bring him home. What was that like, bringing him home? Did you guys think that you were over that hurdle? Or?
Of course. You know, he'd been to rehab, he'd had counseling, he'd had psychiatric people work with him. He looked amazing. He had the light back in his eyes. He had gained weight. He looked beautiful. He was my son again. And so you look at that picture and you think, wow, he's back. We'd done the work. He had done the work.
He turned to heroin to cope with his post-acute withdrawal symptoms. But he's not alone. 75% of Americans that become addicted to prescription painkillers eventually turn to heroin.
And not knowing what that was or any experience with it or about it, what happened was his body began to crack again, and you just think, you know, this is this lifetime thing. I'm always going to have it.
And so he started developing withdrawals again after he got out. And then you're thinking, what's this? We thought we were past this.
No, he didn't share that with us.
He never told you that he was having withdrawals.
No.
So he was just dealing with that on his own. Heroin seemed to be the most immediate relief.
He progressed into it just like most people do. Pills go for about $1 a milligram on the street. You start with a 10 milligram opioid prescription, you're paying $10 maybe 3 or 4 times a day. Well, then you go to 20 and that doubles your money. You go to 30 milligrams, that triples your money. So what you're paying $300 or $400 for in a day, pill-wise, you can get for $10 a day in a bag of heroin.
Heroin's just the next step. It's cheaper, it's stronger.
Was that ever a difficulty to find prescription drugs, though?
I had a hard time finding them where I relocated in Florida, which is why I used heroin for the first time.
And it's accessible, more potent, and more addictive.
Heroin was the only thing that I really wanted because of the price and because of how potent it is.
You don't feel it coming on. It's just like me sitting here talking to you, and all of a sudden you're waking up and it's 4 hours later and you feel crazy, like your face, your whole body's like doesn't have circulation going, so like you feel like if you sit on your foot for a while and goes to sleep, your body feels that way. You can't think straight. Your equilibrium's all off.
With the pills, you know what you're getting every single time because they're manufactured, they're FDA approved, you know what you're getting. With heroin, you never know.
It enters your brain and leaves your brain very quickly, so it creates a compulsion to continue use.
The need for more created desperation, meaning they would get it at any cost.
When I broke into a dealer's house in the Bluff, probably the most dangerous thing I've ever done in my life. If I'd been found, there's no question that I probably would have been shot in the head on the spot.
It's dangerous. You don't feel it though. It's just like you're gone. And some people just don't wake up from that. That's an overdose.
Far too many overdoses are happening because of this illicit drug, and the outcome is sometimes fatal. You had investigators show up at your door. What was your first thought when you opened the door and saw them?
I was waiting for him. I knew. Davis had never not come home. Never. He left Monday night. He told me he loved me. He'd be back. And he never came home. And I knew.
That's got to be a parent's worst nightmare, to see an investigator show up at their door. And can you even remember what your emotions were in that moment?
I just looked at him and I said, he's gone, isn't he? When you live with somebody who's using opioid prescriptions and heroin, two things are going to happen. They're going to end up in jail or they're going to end up dead. If you don't stop and get into recovery, those are your two options.
It's hard to imagine the pain of losing a child to heroin, and it's becoming far too common in our country. As we are looking for resolutions with one drug, there is now a newer, more potent drug on the market. In just 3 years, deaths have skyrocketed 540%, all because of fentanyl.
Fentanyl is taking the opioid epidemic to a new level of urgency.
Somebody grab the oxygen, please.
Wait. Do you have Narcan times 2 from the Narcan kit?
You're overdosed.
I can't even see that.
Right. And a fourth of this is potentially fatal.
Anyone who wants to know just how powerful and deadly fentanyl is should hear his story.
Fentanyl is receiving a lot of coverage because just touching it could be fatal. It is usually prescribed to patients in advanced stages of cancer. However, it is 50 times more potent than heroin.
And I got on fentanyl, fentanyl patches, fentanyl lollipops, suckers.
And how did you start using fentanyl patches?
They were just offered to me from someone, hey, I got some fentanyl patches. You want to try those? Sure.
And were they just coming from off the street, or where were they coming from?
They usually come, the ones I was getting was coming from cancer patients. The lollipops themselves, you just kind of swab your gums a couple of times. I was sucking them like a lollipop. And, and I would get extremely high off of that and would just nod out.
Fentanyl also comes in a patch. It's designed to be up to 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
You usually just put them on and go through your day, but it got to the point where I was cutting the tip off of the patch and orally administering the gel in my mouth and taking it orally. And
wow.
Yeah.
OD'd a couple of times?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Really, I was just angry when I came to.
Why were you angry?
Because I was in withdrawals. Mm-hmm. The Narcan takes you straight out of your euphoria, I guess you could call it. And
do you think fentanyl is changing the playing field when it comes to overdoses?
Yes, most definitely. Fentanyl particles can get up in your nasal passages, whatever, and you'll pass out. It's happened to law enforcement.
The smallest amount that you can hardly see of fentanyl can now
kill you, and fentanyl will kill you. If you say heroin is unforgiving, fentanyl is fatal.
With opiate addictions on the rise, getting in recovery and getting in community seems to be the key to winning this fight.
Stressful times came. I walked into the Jericho House 10 months ago at 185 pounds. A strong wind kept blowing my way, man. I was in good shape, but the drugs took me down to just nothing. I was just an empty shell of a person. I'm very grateful I don't have to wake up in the morning and have a chemical just to be able to be happy, just to be able to smile, just to be able to be me. Very grateful I can look in the mirror now and accept who I am and love me for who I am. Very grateful for the guys here, for the staff, like I said. That's what I got. Love y'all.
Recovery is raw. and it is gritty, but community is where the healing begins. One form of recovery is using prescriptions like Suboxone or methadone to treat prescription opiate addictions. While some say that this is trading one addiction for another, Dr. Martinez says that we have to first understand what addiction means.
So we have to remember what defines an addiction. It's usually a set of behaviors that cause severe impairment in somebody's life. So when you have somebody going to a methadone clinic, taking their daily dose of methadone early in the morning, going to work, having a family, taking care of themselves, having a stable life, that is not an addiction. So I think we all need to understand as a community that addiction is not just taking a substance, it's a state of behavior that accompanies that.
The DeKalb Addiction Clinic is an abstinence-based recovery program rather than a medication-assisted rehab program. There are a number of facilities in Georgia that focus on treatment through medications like Suboxone and methadone. Some of our recoveries said those prescriptions only became addictions too.
Do you regret going the route of using methadone to try to get over your opioid addiction?
At first, it kept me from seeking other drugs, but like I say, it became an addiction within itself. I would dose one at the window and take 28 home, and 28 doses to a drug addict, or I would usually double or triple up, start off with, so I can get that euphoric feeling.
Because there's a lot of controversy surrounding treating opioids with another prescription. How did you feel that Suboxone, did it help you or did it hinder you in your recovery?
I think it hindered me. The only thing I think Suboxone did for me was buy me time. I was still abusing Suboxone. Suboxone was giving me exactly what the opiates gave me. It numbed my feelings. It gave me an escape.
So what is the difference between Suboxone, methadone, or hydrocodone and oxycontin?
Yes, so methadone and Suboxone, it's important to distinguish them from the actual opioid that the person is abusing because they don't necessarily do that. Let me give you an example with heroin. Heroin is a drug that quickly goes into your brain and quickly kicks out. So hence the compulsion to keep using it over and over again. Methadone is a long-acting opioid, which means that it doesn't give you those highs or lows. It kind of keeps a steady state when it comes to providing that comfort.
I personally am not against a medically supervised short-term Suboxone detox maintenance to help with detox. I have no problem with that. But there's also the other side of it is sometimes having to go through that detox without medication really burns it in your head. Hey, I don't ever want to go through this again. So there's two sides to it.
This is a controversial topic, and it will probably remain this way as we search for ways to decrease the epidemic. The alternative is abstinence-based recovery.
About 21 days after he went in, they said, we've done everything we can do, and he's being released. We didn't have the knowledge that 1 month of rehab wouldn't even touch an opioid addiction. After that point, I found out research probably almost a year later that if you go into a rehab situation and it only lasts for 28 days for an opioid addiction, you're 32 times more likely to come out and die within 4 months than if you'd never gone at all. So all it does is lower the tolerance of your body to the drug, and then your brain hasn't had time to heal. So it's like you're physically better, but your brain doesn't understand that.
Do you think that would have had a different outcome for your son if he had gone to a longer program?
Well, if you can get a year in recovery, you're 67% more likely to stay in recovery. So the longer that you stay in recovery, the likelihood increases that you'll stay there. So, yes.
It's smart to not hurt if you don't have to.
This is where we meet Larry. He founded the year-long abstinence-based recovery program called the Jericho House, based on his own experience struggling with an opiate addiction.
When I started taking the pain pills, my body got worse because it masked over what was going on. My body was saying, hello, something's wrong. And we were living in a generation where we just do away with the pain.
He had back surgery when he was 30. Now he looks back on that time and it motivates him to help others.
If I started feeling pain in my back and running out of pills, he would feel them. Well, this doctor particularly, whether it's from ignorance of addiction or whatever, I pretty much could get him to write anything I wanted. So we live in an age of medicating, and we'll do or take anything to avoid feeling what we don't want to feel. And pain's certainly something we don't want to feel.
After he broke his own addiction with opiates, he set out on a journey to start helping others. And then the Jericho House was started.
I realized that there was a whole community of people that were trying to get help with addictions that weren't being addressed, and that was dual diagnosis, where folks that were struggling with addictions, but they also had depression, anxiety, other mental health issues. And so we set this course to explore letting people in to deal with dual diagnosis and working more closely with professional mental health people and so on. I'm so glad we did because we got some of the coolest people, that we would have never had in the program, and they're getting help, and they're learning how not to be ashamed of the fact that they have needs that are different.
The Jericho House was born from the idea that people need time for their bodies and their brain to heal from an opiate addiction. 50% of the men at the Jericho House are recovering from opiates.
We definitely want to paint a picture for them and guiding, but the men in the program just swallow them up. They take them in as brothers, and usually they're still, even if they've been through a detox center, they're still kind of not totally detoxed. So we kind of give allowances there. But the first phase is orientation, and the second phase is what we call the regeneration process. And then the third phase is inner healing, and then the last phase is discipleship.
So what happens after a year in recovery? When they're back facing the reality of their life, what steps can be taken to ensure the recovery lasts a lifetime?
They're in the formal setting of rehab or incarceration. They do great. Davis did great in rehab. When they come out, they relapse because there's no aftercare. So the zone provides aftercare. And as with any other disease, if you don't manage it, you'll succumb to the disease. The zone is a place where you come to stay healthy. And you may need it once a month, you may need it every day, you may need to be dropped off in the morning and picked up at night. You need that connection. Connection is the opposite of addiction. And without that connection, it won't end well. So the zone is where people come in recovery to stay in recovery.
The zone has counselors and group sessions available every day to help people in opiate recovery. And so if somebody's wanting to come to the zone, what is that process like? They just come through the front door?
Walk through the door.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
And like here-ish, just throw a lot of questions.
There are many things to keep people entertained at the zone, including art class and music therapy. Why a coffee shop? Why did you guys decide to put a coffee shop here?
If you know anybody who's ever suffered with the disease of addiction, I don't know any of them who don't drink caffeine. But what we were finding out is when we opened the doors and people were coming in for meeting and they were coming in for social connection and whatever, if anybody left to go anywhere, I'm running to the coffee shop, I'll be right back. So we said, shoot, that's an opportunity. So people love coffee shops, they love internet cafes, they love social connection, and a coffee shop provides all of that. So we're putting baristas, people in long-term recovery, back to work as baristas. Anytime you come into the zone, you're working with people who are peer support.
The zone is able to offer so many different ways to help people because it is completely funded by the Davis Direction Foundation.
Also, tell us about the dog that's
Ollie.
tell us about Ollie. What is her purpose here?
Ollie was donated to us or gifted to us by Southeastern Guide Dogs. And Ollie is a seeing eye dog, certified seeing eye dog, certified veterans PTSD dog, and a certified facility therapy dog. She has more training than most of us. And what she does here is she loves everybody unconditionally. And that's her job, and she does it well. She will kind of gravitate around the room and then gravitate to the person, and she'll just lay her head right in their lap. This provides love.
You decided to look at opioid recovery in the face and say, that shouldn't have happened. We're going to do something to help. And you opened the Davis Direction Foundation and the Zone. Why? Why did you decide to do that?
After Davis died, people from all over the community came out of the woodworks. And because now they knew that you had been through what they were going through, they wanted to share their story. And I had no idea how prevalent drug use was in our community. So 3 weeks after he died, we opened the Davis Direction Fund. And 4 months later, we were a determined 501c3 nonprofit.
The Jericho House is also helping with aftercare by teaching the men trades that they can then use after they leave the program.
A lot of the guys that come here, especially the younger, the work ethic's not where it probably needs to be. Their number one job is to go get high.
One of the trades taught is woodmanship, and it's taught in the Jericho House wood shop.
For me, it's kind of funny because this job I have at Jericho House is now turning into something I can see myself carrying on when I leave here.
The old wood that we take from like 100-year-old barns, and it kind of was like these guys. I mean, it's repurposed wood. It was built for one thing and turned down and built for another. And that's kind of like what the lives of these guys were going through. They came here broken and seemingly had no purpose. So just taking the wood and just letting these guys sand it down, refinish it, and build something beautiful. It's just kind of like their lives. It kind of lines up with our mission.
Yeah, that is what a lot of these guys are, myself included, you know, coming in here bruised, battered, and beat up and getting polished up, and then, you know, sit back out in the world to be a productive member of society instead of taking, you know, you give back.
But it's amazing how quickly they get the vision of it. They start feeling purpose. You know, this saddest commentary is a man's life ending not knowing why it began. And so they find purpose. They're also a part of something bigger than themselves. The industries, whether it's the wood shop or the other industries, they bring in income.
This place has saved my life, and it's not one guy, but it was everybody. You know, it was, I mean, I can't think of just one, but it's all of them, and it's, you know, it's the effort that they all put into this place, and it's, I can only speak for myself. It gave me a place to look back and reflect, and gave me a place to change and grow, and again, I'm grateful for it.
What would you say to someone that is considering going into a recovery center, maybe even the Jericho House, but they're afraid of the withdrawals, they're afraid of taking that step? What would you tell them?
Just like any change in your life, it's at first it's all new, it's uncomfortable. For opiate withdrawals, it's hell on earth. It is. But once you get past the first stage, it's all worth it. It's like you're seeing life in a different lens. It's amazing.
Since John has been in the Jericho House, he and Emily have gotten engaged, and they're raising their precious son, Paul.
It takes a little whole time. That first week, I didn't sleep for 8 days. In the same breath, it's so much better to be able to wake up and not need nothing to get up. They treat you like family there. They help you in ways that you don't even know that you need help in yet.
And what would you like to tell the Jericho House as a whole for getting you to this milestone?
I've still got 10 months to go, but I don't look at it as 10 months. I look at it as one day at a time. I feel it's going to feel like a lot of freedom. thought that I was free when I was using, but I was really bound.
The reality of the prescription opioid addiction is closer to you than the other people that we've spoken to. Is that reality ever prevalent to you today?
No, actually, in honesty, I still think about it. I still have a craving for it. If I was out there, I'd probably still be using. I've got this cage of protection around me at this moment, and it's where I need to be right now.
Brantley graduated from the Jericho House 3 years ago, and now he is a counselor helping other men struggling with their opiate addiction.
It's really exciting. I never thought I'd make it this far. I used to look at people with 3 years clean like, how did you do it? But being a counselor here now on staff, I enjoy getting to use my story to help other guys who are going through similar things. I would say the best thing the Jericho House did for me was it helped show me who I really am. I didn't know who I was. I got married about 9 months ago, and that's been like the greatest blessing of my entire life right there. And getting to use my experience, all my experiences to help them is like the biggest blessing I could ever do. You know, you don't get paid a lot, but it's not about the money for me. This is what I'm called to do.
After 12 months of recovery, Jonathan has made it to graduation.
You start the program and you really want it to end right off the bat. Like that's the first thing you're looking forward to. It's not fun to have to look at yourself and work on yourself every day. So, but going throughout the program, you find that it's the journey and not the destination that really means something. That's where the change comes from. It's a challenge to overcome, more the drug addiction than the program. So, I'm very thankful on that aspect of it, that I'm able to not be a complete slave to my drug anymore.
The time, the effort, the energy these men invest into this place is amazing. Especially for the return that they get. Not a lot of people go out and invite drug addicts to come stay at their house. It's an amazing thing that they do. It really is.
I think the thing that's different with Jericho House than other programs is they really try to get you to look inside and try to decipher why you're being so self-destructive.
Just get the word out that there is help and there is hope.
Today you're at the graduation for Jericho House. How does it make you feel seeing the graduees, and does it inspire your journey in recovery?
It makes me feel inspired because I know each and every one of these men, and I've seen the progression to when I got to the Jericho House 7 months ago. From then till now, it's very inspiring just to see the changes that they've all done. But I can tell you this much: once I gave everything to God and made the decision to come to the Jericho House, it seems like all these things that I was trying to juggle and trying to manage and try to force are all being worked out by me being here.
I'm my own man again, and I'm not controlled like I used to be. So that part I'm very thankful for.
I'll tell you what it feels like to see them at that stage graduating. It feels like payday. It is very rewarding because of a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons I was thinking about earlier today is my family gets pretty big when we do graduations. So that's always exciting, adding a new member of the family.
The investment it takes to walk with one guy for an entire year, every day, seeing them struggle, seeing them slip and fall sometimes, but seeing them get back up, seeing these things quit, and seeing them realize what they need to do, and then actually watching them do it. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
It's only been a little bit over a year, so I can still very vividly remember how bad it was. And that's something that I hope never to lose, because I feel like that's one of the key factors that will keep me sober and keep me along the lines of walking it out. That not trying to go back to what I used to do and how I used to be. I don't ever want to forget where I came from and who that person was. Because somewhere inside that person's still there. And if I give them that chance, they're right there waiting for me.
Find your passion, dream your dreams, and follow your instincts to success.
What kind of legacy do you think that the zone and Davis Direction is almost leaving for Davis?
I hope it's leading a legacy of wellness. Because if you manage your disease, you can stay just as well as you want to stay.
Rows and rows of picture frames hang on the wall of the zone. These are the lives that were loved and lost to the disease of opiate addiction. Drugs designed to relieve pain have left these families with the worst pain of all. Missy devotes her time to helping people in opioid recovery so that one day families don't have to bear the pain of losing a loved one to opiates. Long-term recovery and community seem to be the common threads in breaking an opiate addiction. As a nation, we prescribe and use opioids too much for too long. Maybe we don't need to medicate all the pain away. If you need help in addiction recovery, go to these links. People are ready to help you move forward in taking back your life. I'm Savannah Pratt. Thank you for joining us tonight and watching Addicted, the Opioid Epidemic. Good night.
The first time I tried heroin, not only did I like it, I loved it. And it just gave me a sense of peace that I didn't have to worry about stuff anymore. I just wanted to be free of worrying about stuff. You know, I was a correctional officer at the Maryland Pen, and that's when my disease started. It's a stressful place, and a lot of the correctional officers there use. I wasn't even thinking of it. I had to use because I got to go to work. And I realized that I was sick. My mother was an open person, so she told
Hey, what's up? What's up? Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff for your girl. Thank you, K Love. We got my sister in the house. Thank you, K Love, for coming by and spending time with me. And also, you Bush people out there, thank you so much watching on your flat screens and all of that. Y'all, you know what? Today has been a really crazy, crazy day. I was really, really thankful because I have my internet service is through is over Cox Cable, honey. And do you know that Cox Cable has been price gouging me for months now? And the gentleman, they finally sent somebody out here to fix my stuff, which was an all-day event. It turned the house phone off, the televisions didn't work, the security system didn't work. It was just a bunch of unnecessary malarkey. And then when I tried to speak to someone there at Cox Cable, I got hung up on because the phone services wasn't working correctly. They could hear me, but I couldn't hear them. Long story short, eventually they had somebody call me, and the lady got really, really nasty and disrespectful with me on the line. And I said, darn, this lady must be on something, because I can't believe you got a job, you know, working, and you think that you can call a customer and and talk to them in that manner. But anyway, she did. And at least she got somebody out here. So the guys that did come in, they did fix the camera system, which has been out since for a very long time. I'm glad that they finally did fix it. But my concern is that they don't end up overcharging me for a system that they now have proof that didn't work. Because when they go in and they look at the handheld device, they're able to see when is the last time you logged in, when was the last time, you were able to check your security system. And they were able to see that they were basically saying that my system was outdated and that they had to come in and update all of my stuff. And that's the reason why when me and Kay talk to each other on the phone, I'm saying hello, hello, hello. And she says hello, but she can hear me, but I can't hear her. Sometimes she thought it was her Bluetooth, but majority of the time it was my phone. They did a full investigation. I'm like, ain't nobody supposed to be paying all this money for something that don't work. And Cox Cable might be shady and turn it off because when they fix stuff, they'll still add stuff onto your bill and then say, oh, we're going to credit it back, next month. So hopefully, by the grace of God, that portion works out, okay? I've never heard of Spectrum cable. You sure you're not talking about a different Spectrum? I'm gonna do me a nice, sexy sugar and honey and turmeric mask. Probably baking soda too. My skin doesn't feel as smooth. And with this dry weather, So y'all that's up in the bush, y'all that's up in the bush people, bush people, bush people. Come on down, come on down, come on and click that link. This is an open floor tonight. Long as you ain't scared. The phone line, I already have it. It's just waiting for you to call in. Don't be scared. Call in. Let's chop it up. I would like to know, what has drug addiction, opiate addiction, cigarette addiction, food addiction, sex addiction, has it affected your life? Do you know a family member that it has affected? Let's chop it up and let's talk with each other. Oh, somebody just hit me up on Twitter. Y'all can hit me up on Twitter too right now. Oh, yes. So ready for love. That's my news little feed on Twitter. That's what you see in the background. Go ahead and follow your girl. Okay? If the comment was held for review, and that comment has to be deleted. You gotta abbreviate that. You have to abbreviate the words, Ray. Just abbreviate them. Okay, Ray said, well, mostly porn, I get sex mostly. Okay, so Ray, are you coming out today and saying that you suffer with porn addiction? I've heard of people suffering with that. Do you think that you dealing with porn addiction has affected your sex life? And that's the reason why you possibly, haven't stepped out and got a girlfriend because, you're, too busy watching, porn. And I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but I have heard that, porn can cause you not to be intimate, where you can't be able to perform sexually or whatever because you're caught up in the images and what porn can provide. I know a couple of guys that were my homeboys in the past that were addicted to porn. Please make sure, do not use any spam words in the chat. And please just abbreviate any sexual connotations, any cuss words, or anything like that, or your comment will have to be deleted, unfortunately. You're listening to Nicole Reloaded. Make sure that you thumbs up this video. Yes, Kirk Franklin. He sure was. You know what? My homegirl was down, I believe when she was working at the Treasure Island, she bumped into Kirk Franklin and he was staying at one of them and had him a good suite up there where he was with, another woman, and allegedly that woman wasn't his wife. Sandy, go somewhere and sit down and hush up. Go outside. Okay, Kayla says, yeah, most of them cheat, not surprised. Do you think, Kayla, that every man cheats? Do you think that a man can be faithful? I don't know. I'm sure we can't say that every man cheats. It got to be one that has been faithful for at least, 5 hours. Ray, you're gonna have to use abbreviations or something, okay? You can't say the p word, honey. You're gonna have to abbreviate it, babe. Because YouTube is automatically holding your statement for review. I can show it through on StreamYards, but it's holding it in the chat. Do you see that? So for whatever reason, it don't want certain words that he's saying. I don't know why it's doing that, Ray. I'm sorry. That lady looked like she didn't had a rough life, but she looked like she pull it. She found a way to pull it together somehow. Drugs ain't no joke, man. I think she said she was, yeah, she was addicted to heroin. Heroin. Well, let me not pronounce it right because I don't want to get in trouble by the robot. But yeah, I'm sorry, Ray. Just abbreviate it, boo. Just abbreviate it. Wait, what? Caleb said, but be about to cry in the car when a woman cheat on them, shaking my head. They can't take it. Take it. Yeah, they can't take. No, a man can't take it if a woman cheats on them. Oh, they feelings get super hurt. How dare you? How dare you think you can cheat on me? And they real quick to call you snores. They'll be like, you're a snore. You're no good. With me having daughters, I'm very careful in regards to especially now. I mean, because men will try to date you to get close to your kids, you know, and I think it's something, real fishy about a man that wants to date a girl or a young woman, a young lady that's like 20 years his senior. Like if he's like, I don't know, like 35 and the woman is like 18 or 16, just because she's legal don't mean, you know what I'm saying? I also think that it's selfish. This young lady deserves to live her life and experience different sexual partners and whatever it is that she wants to. Now, I think if the woman is like I guess you can say over the age of 25, because the frontal lobe at that time is closed, then the brain has the mental capacity to be able to have somewhat understanding in regards to what allegedly could take place in the future. But I don't know. I just think it's something that's, I don't know. I'm just saying, young ladies, if you get with a man that is older, your senior, make sure that you check his credit. Do a full credit and background check on him. Especially if he has multiple, ex-wives and, children with, different women. He's going to tell you one thing and having you believe something completely different. Just like even with the woman. A woman would say, oh, he treated me like this. He treated me like garbage, blah, blah, blah. He never loved me, and that woman could have never cleaned for him, cooked for him, washed his clothes, helped him get supported him in his dream, helped him get the career of his dream and supported him, you know. And she couldn't, she could have been a woman that was allegedly out there that was, jumping from, D to D, from D to D, and still, circling and flirting with everything that she got her hands on. It's really important. Communication is extremely important. Okay? You need to communicate with your partners. But like I said, me having a baby that, kids that are younger but are old enough, and my daughters are pretty too, men will try to get close to me just to get close to my daughters. Or even some of these young guys will think, oh, I can have you and your mom. Because they didn't watch some sick fantasy, foreign story that made them think that could actually be a reality in their unrealistic, sorry ash life. Now make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and share this video. Thumbs it up, go ahead and thumbs it up. Hey, thumbs it up, thumbs it down, go ahead and thumbs it down. Hey, go ahead and thumbs it up, go ahead and thumbs it up. Hey, go ahead and thumbs it down, go ahead and thumbs it down. Hey, go ahead and thumbs it up, go ahead and thumbs it up. Hey, go ahead and thumbs it down, go ahead and thumbs it down. Now, if you want to call in, just go ahead and pick up the phone. Go ahead and pick up the motherfucking phone. You listen to Nicole, Reloaded with K-Love, K-Love, K-Love. We got K-Love in the house. We got K-Love in the house. K-Love's in the house. And we got Ray in the house. Now go ahead and call in. Now what we are talking about, okay, is opioids are prescribed to treat pain. With prolonged use, pain relieving effects may lessen and pain can become worse. In addition, the body can develop dependence and dependency. Opioid dependency causes withdrawal symptoms, which makes it difficult to stop taking them. Addiction occurs when dependence interferes with the daily life. Taking more than prescribed amount or using illegal opioids like heroin may result in death. Symptoms of addiction include uncontrollable cravings, inability to control opioid use, even though it's having negative effects on personal relationships or finances. Treatments vary, but may include discontinuing the drug. Medications such as methadone can help alleviate the symptoms of withdrawal and cravings. Pairing medications with inpatient or support programs generally have the most success. Okay? So judgment day for who? Nobody can judge anybody. Only God can judge you. You don't know what people are going through. I mean, look at this story that we just listened to the young men and different women that unfortunately got addicted to heroin, pain medication. I'm sure they didn't go in saying, oh, I want to be addicted to this substance. Nobody just goes in and says, yeah, I want to be a crackhead. Okay? I mean, do you know? I mean, I could be wrong. Do you know anybody, you know what I'm saying, that just said, oh, yeah, I want to be a crackhead. I want all my teeth to fall out. I want to lose custody of my kids. Yeah, and by the way, I'm a grown man and I don't want my flat show to be able to be erect when a woman gives me her uchi wally wally and her shebang bang. Okay? I'm sure a man wants to stand up. Let me stop. I'm sure a man wants to stand up to attention when it's time for him to put it down. When he wants to beat it, beat it, beat it up, beat it up, beat it up. Okay? You know? Like one of my homegirls that came on here last week, what did she say? She said, girl, you gotta be careful. You gotta watch them. If they get in your car and they got straws and they like to use straws, girl, that means that they using them straws to do, illegal activity. And because you don't roll with the, you know what I'm saying, the drugs, or the opioid, situation, or Hohane rhymes with Cohane, you know what I'm saying? They would try to manipulate the situation. You got to be careful. You let somebody in your car that's doing that, and they got, drugs secretly held onto their body, and you get pulled over. Lord Jesus, you the driver, you the one that's going to go to jail. You're going to end up going to jail you're going to get multiple different charges. But I don't want to take away from the fact that, look, Judgment Day, like I said, who has the right to judge anybody? Like I always say, be a blessing and not a curse. Share some knowledge and wisdom that you know. See if you can help somebody, you know? Hello, hello. Are you guys still there? What happened, daughter? I guess I can share this. Okay, are you guys back? Are you still there? Hey, you're listening to your girl Nicole Reloaded, and we loaded up with another video. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and all that good Okay, the name of this video is Judgment Day for Who? Opiate Addiction Independence. God is watching you. Be a blessing and not a curse. Now, I got the phone lines open, and as well as my invitation link. I don't want to keep saying it over and over or whatever, but I know that y'all watching from the bushes, and I really appreciate you bush people. You don't have to come on and show your face. You don't have to present your as long as you're not disrespectful, whatever. I would like to know how people are feeling about the breakdown of the African American family in regards to Black mothers and daughters, Black mothers and Black sons, especially with this sex trafficking, all this stuff that's going on. And our children are being kidnapped and snatched and unfortunately murdered, and they're taking our children's organs and all kinds of stuff that is going on. And it just breaks my heart to see a lot of the division in the device that are going on, seeing it in our YouTube community, but also certain people that I've been talking to that are not YouTubers. Their families are going through a lot of separation and disagreements, to where the moms are not spending time with the daughters or vice versa. The mom is either mad at the daughter, or the daughter's mad at the mom, or the dad, or the son can't stand the dad and loves the mother, or loves the dad and hates the mom, or loves the mom and hates the dad. Can't parents parents should find a way, to the best of their ability, to be able to come together, regardless, to have an open line of communication. Parents should be there for each other. If they had a baby together, they should be there for each other financially and physically. If you don't have no food on Thanksgiving, then, and I got it, I should help you put food in the house. Vice versa. If the baby don't got a coat, we should both buy a coat. Shoot. And if neither one of us got no money, then I guess we should go somewhere and get some help so we all can get coats. I think it's just about open dialogue and communication, not about, I see a lot of people that are unfortunately, using CPS as a form, as a weapon to get back at so-called content creators. And I think that it's very evil. And please believe me, if you call CPS on somebody, yes, it is anonymous, but they do keep your information in the computer. And if you like to call in all the time, don't think that they're not going to keep some type of history of that. And when you call CPS on somebody and you're doing it with malicious intent in your heart, one day CPS is going to show up at your house or at somebody that you love's house. Okay? And you're not going to be able to have no control over it. You can just go ahead and take your sorry, disrespectful, manipulated self into your bathroom or into your closet, and you can go in that biscuit with no butter and you can go and cry. Stop utilizing government and federal and state officials to do your dirty work. Nobody has the right to say that this person doesn't deserve to be a mother. Even they let child molesters have rights to be with their kids. So I don't think that it's right for people to, make those judgments in regards to if a person, a father, should have rights to be able to see his child or not. It's supposed to be what's in the best interest of that child, and all it does is build a bridge of contingents and strife and hate. And I'm gonna tell you something: when that kid get older, and they realize you've been doing all kinds of shady, dirty stuff to keep that little boy away from his mother, or that little boy away from his father, or the father trying to keep the little boy away from the mother, or the father trying to keep the little girl away, you know what I'm saying, from the father or the mother, vice versa. Eventually, when they get older and they realize, and they can go back and look at court documents and the false allegation against the father or the mother, it's gonna put a very bad taste in that young child's mouth, and they're gonna come out and say that, Mom, you were full of crap. You did everything in your power to keep me away from Dad. You said Dad didn't love me. Dad only loved his boyfriends or his girlfriends, because some dads have girlfriends and boyfriends. You just never know. And I think that us as parents, we need to be better and communicate. But you also too, you got to be careful, because you never know when somebody's trying to manipulate you and try to flip the game on you to try to get close to you, which ain't got nothing to do with the kids. You come to drop your son off, and and then you trying to come in the house and be intimate with the mama, knowing darn well that you have a husband or a wife, or use your son or your daughter as an excuse to be able to creep and hook up with somebody else, to where the mother and the father, or the father and father, or mother and mother end up not getting along with one another because there's unnecessary contingents and strife between each other. And that's not healthy. It's not. Hold on, y'all. I am so glad that they came out here and fixed my security system, because you try to roll up in here now, all kinds of stuff is going to go off. I praise God that they finally came up in here and fixed this. It wasn't working properly for months. So now I'll be able to sleep a lot better, so I'm not afraid that somebody could come up in here and try to take my poom poom or hurt me and my kids. It's a lot of solicitation and stuff that's going on. People, but I really, really think in the bottom of my heart that if you are a mother and you have a broken relationship with your daughter or your son, I think that you need to separate yourself and go somewhere in private, and you need to pray and you need to give it to God. I'm not saying that you gotta, become best friends with your mom, or your dad or grandma or whoever. But you only get, ooh. I scratched my arm, y'all. My arm is bleeding real bad. I scratched my arm. Hold on, y'all. You only get one mother. And I'm going to tell you something. Regardless if you don't like your mama or your daddy right now, if it's mother, oh, this is bleeding real bad. I'm sorry, y'all. My daughter gave me some really good healing oil, and it does work. It takes some time, but it does work. You just got to be patient. But what I was going to say is, if it's you only get one mother. You only get one mother. And I'm going to tell you something. Regardless of how much you don't like your mama, when she gone, even if it's your daddy, and you don't like him, but you guys had some form of relationship with each other, and that relationship could have had some forms of amends. Not saying that you should be acceptable to any form of abuse or neglect or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But forgiveness is for you. How you doing there, love? I would love for you to call in, mama. Or why don't you come on here with me, Naylove? I'm just trying to tell the people, Naylove, you know what I'm saying? That, you only get one mother. You only get one father. And if you have a relationship with your mother, find a way in your heart and in your soul. Find a way in your heart or your soul to forgive her. Sons, if you got a problem with your father, try to see if you can find a way to forgive him. I'm not saying that you should forget. But what I am saying, forgiveness is for you. Why carry that heavy cross on your back like that? It's not healthy. And a lot of us, we don't understand addiction. Addiction can cause you to do all kinds of stuff that don't make any sense. You know, mental illness. There's a lot of mental illnesses that are severely not diagnosed in the African American community because, we old school. We don't too much feel going to speaking to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist. First thing I hear, I don't want them mother effers all in my mother effing business. Well, they have all different type of therapists of all different colors, different shapes and sizes. All you have to do is you can reach out to 211. If you're in, you can reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That they also provide referrals if you're dealing or battling, with mental illness or so on and so forth, or drug addiction or whatever it is. Reach out and speak to someone, because sitting back and suffering with a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, that ain't gonna do nothing for you. You only get one mama. My mama's gone, man. I miss my mama every day, regardless of if she was right 100% of the time or if she was wrong 100% of the time, which she wasn't. But I'm just saying, I would do anything in the world to have my mama back. Anything. Anything I would do. Just to even hear her call me by my name, even if she was yelling at me. I miss my mama, man. All the things that we could have done, that we should have done. Letting the devil come in and kill, steal, and destroy. Don't lose that time with your mama or your father or a family member or a friend that you can't get back because the devil wants to take that person that loves you out of your life. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. I keep trying to tell y'all, the devil don't want black folks to love on each other. They don't. Why do you think there's so many women that are not married or broken families? It's because the devil doesn't want to see us the devil doesn't want to see us to unify with each other and hold on to each other and love on each other. He doesn't want that. The devil doesn't want that at all. And it's not like it's a secret, it's obvious. And anybody that thinks that it's okay for a mother and daughter to be, or a son and father, or a son and mother, or, daughter and father to hate their parents, and especially to provide it online for the whole world to see. Ain't nothing good about that, and God ain't gonna bless you neither. Sitting back, dropping comments and telling people where they should go and what they should do. Why don't you go and do something with yourself? Judging people you don't know. You can live in the same house, and do you know you and that individual both can have two complete different stories? Because my experience is different than your experience. Doesn't mean that my experience was better or worse. It just means that we had two different experiences. And if those experiences both caused us pain, then we do have a similarity that happened during that experience. Okay? In the last days, the Bible talks about how in the last days that the devil is going to turn mothers against daughters and daughters against mothers and sons against fathers. And when I read this in the Bible, it makes me think, well, since this is what the word says, then obviously it's the devil that's doing this. If our mothers or fathers were so wrong and so evil and such a piece of garbage, you know, then why would the devil already have something written out, pre-planned and destined for our relationships with our children and our mothers and our fathers and marriage? It's really, really sad, y'all. I'm not trying to come on here and give y'all no sad story or nothing, but I'm just really trying to chop it up with y'all. And I know it's somebody out there in the bushes. Shout out to my bush people. Make sure that you thumbs up this video, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff for your girl. But I really wanted to know am I the only one that's just thinking like this? Am I the only one? I really would love for somebody to call in. I got the phone lines actually are working this time. Okay. Coxton finally fixed it for your girl. But then when y'all gonna want to call in, that's when it's all gonna be acting funky. Ain't no time better than the present. Let me find some music for us. I'm gonna stay on until when it reaches 3 hours, and then I'm gonna get off. Unless somebody decides to call in. I'm not gonna mention, but somebody told me to come on live tonight, and I'm here. Say yes or no.